Ah, Christmas. The snow on the ground, the decorations, family and friends. And of course, the Christmas movies. Over the years, it has been a staple of the holiday season, with classics like White Christmas or It's a Wonderful Life.
Come on, Barry. You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
They add charm and warmth to the season. In later years, we would have other classics such as The Santa Claus and Elf. However, the 1980s gave us many gifts for Christmas. So today, let's remember the classic Christmas movies from the 1980s. Afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being you. Special shout out to Carrie Caswell. Thank you for being our rock star today. And with that, my name is Kevin, and let's get started.
I know you, don't I? I'm usually very good with names, but I'll be damned if I haven't forgotten yours.
You stole my cab.
First of all, I'm going to cheat, as this is technically a Thanksgiving movie. However, there's no question it is a holiday classic. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles from 1987 stars Steve Martin and John Candy. And they are a true joy to watch, and the chemistry they have is simply undeniable.
That's right.
What do I do that bothers you? I'm just curious.
There's lots of things.
Name one. Why don't you name
there's
one?
quite a few things. You want me to name one?
Yeah.
Fine, man. You play with your balls a lot.
I do not play with my balls.
Larry Bird doesn't do as much ball handling in one night as you do in an hour.
Are you trying to start a fight?
No, I'm simply stating a fact, that's all. You fidget with your nuts a lot.
Easily excitable Neil Page is somewhat of a control freak, who's trying to get home to Chicago to spend Thanksgiving with his wife and kids. His flight is then rerouted to a distant city in Kansas because of a freak snowstorm, and his sanity begins to fray. Worse, he is forced to bunk up with talkative Del Griffith, whom he finds extremely annoying. Together, they must overcome the insanity of the holiday travel to reach their intended destination. And did you know this movie was based on a true story? Film creator John Hughes was working as a copywriter in Chicago. He had to make a presentation in New York City at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday, with plans to head back home to Chicago on a 5 p.m. flight. But the Windy City stayed true to its name, and winter storms canceled his flight, forcing him to find a hotel in the city. He eventually found another flight, which was rerouted to Iowa and then diverted to Denver, then Des Moines, where he was also snowed in. Hughes was then routed to Phoenix before finally making it home to Chicago. Based on his treacherous journey, Hughes found it so comical it inspired the film. Also, this movie has an original length of over 4 hours and almost had Tom Hanks and John Travolta as the starring roles.
Well, that's cool, baby. I mean, you know how it is, rockin' and rollin' and whatnot.
Danny?
And eagle-eyed viewers may see cameos from stars such as Kevin Bacon, Ben Stein, Susan Sarandon, Michael McKean, and of course Edie McClurg in one of the most unforgettable moments. What a fantastic movie, and easily one of John Hughes' best.
When you're telling these little stories, here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you. But I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
New York City policeman John McClane is visiting his estranged wife and 2 daughters on Christmas Eve. He joins her at a holiday party in the headquarters of the Japanese-owned business she works for. But the festivities are interrupted by a group of terrorists who take over the executive high-rise and everyone in it. Very soon, McClane realizes that there's no one to save the hostages except for him. So this one, of course, is debatable and has been for many years. However, if it is a Christmas movie to you, then it is a Christmas movie. And this would be the 1988 classic Die Hard. So is Die Hard a Christmas movie officially? According to both director John McTiernan and writer Steven D'Souza, They have confirmed that Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie. However, star Bruce Willis has gone on record as saying no, it's not.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
So yeah, take that as you will and make your decision. For me, I say yes. Decorate the yippee-ki-yay halls.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
However, I welcome your counterpoints in the comments below. Originally from a book called Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe, the leading character was named Joe Leland in the book. However, in the movie, John McClane was born and ready to save the hostages in Nakatomi Plaza. It may be interesting to note that the look of surprise in the classic shot of Hans Gruber dropping down the side of Nakatomi Tower was not totally the work of great acting. Though he prepared to take the 25-foot drop onto the airbag below, instead of dropping him on the count of 3 as planned, producer Joel Silver dropped him at the count of 1.
That's not a hostage.
That aside, what a performance by Alan Rickman, who would later go on to star in another holiday Christmas classic, Love Actually. Although we lost Rickman in 2016, the legacy he left will live on. Later, Bruce Willis would have some animosity for the film, but there's no doubt this made his career as the everyman cop who saves us all. That being said, he was also not the first actor considered. They went through Clint Eastwood, Frank Sinatra, Richard Gere, Robert De Niro, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, Burt Reynolds, and Richard Dean Anderson, before aligning on Bruce Willis.
Hans, Bobby, I'm your white knight.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
The guy upstairs is things up, huh?
I can give them to you.
Retro Renaissance will return after these messages.
Hi, how are you again?
I have some last-minute gift problems.
Don't worry. Hickory Farms has over 100 gift packs. Gifts with mild cheddar cheese, smoky bar cheese. We are the super cheese market.
Yes, but
and Hickory Farms specialties like beef stick and sweet hot mustard.
Oh, look, I'll just put myself in your hands.
Okay. Let's see. It's 14 elves.
Mm-hmm.
How many reindeer?
Well, there's Dasher and Dancer and Prancer.
Couldn't get it off. Come on, guys, wait up! Come on, guys! Come on, guys, wait up! Hey, kid! Give it up! I can't get off! Ralph! Hey! I can't get off, Ralph! Come on, Flick, wait up!
Based on the humorous writings of Gene Shepard, this beloved holiday movie follows the wintry exploits of young Ralphie Parker, who spends most of his time dodging a bully and dreaming of his ideal Christmas gift, which is a Red Ryder air rifle. Frequently at odds with his cranky dad, but comforted by his doting mother, Ralphie struggles to make it to Christmas with his glasses and his hopes intact. Now, every Christmas morning, this movie is on my TV at home. It is a perfect film with a classic Christmas charm, and memorable lines such as "You'll shoot your eye out," and of course the leg lamp will instantly remind you of the holiday classic from 1983, A Christmas Story. Few movies have become such a classic, and it literally airs for 24 hours straight on Christmas Eve. When we talk about casting, can you imagine anyone else in the role of Ralphie's father other than Darren McGavin? He's one of the most recognizable fathers in cinema, whether in appearance or his dialogue, including his gibberish, cursing, and his poor vocabulary.
Fragile. It must be Italian.
Well, I think that says fragile, honey.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Jack Nicholson was originally offered the role of the character known simply as the Old Man.
You can't handle the truth!
He was sent the script and was interested, but his asking price was way too much for the studio. Apparently the actor's fee would have doubled the budget. And yes, there would be a crummy sequel in 2012. However, the newest tale, titled A Christmas Story Christmas, is out this year, and it looks pretty decent, so I'm hopeful.
Okay, Black Bart. Now you get yours.
Oh my God, I shot my eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
You'll shoot your eye out.
As the holidays approach, Clark Griswold wants to have the perfect family Christmas, so he pesters his wife Ellen and children as he tries to make sure everything is in line, including the tree and the house decorations. However, things go awry quickly when his cousin Eddie and his family show up unplanned and start living in their camper on the Griswold's property. Even worse, Clark's employers fail at getting him his Christmas bonus. Along with Christmas films of the 1980s, so would be the Christmas songs that accompany them. This movie starts off with a fun song that sets the stage for what we are in for.
That's how it's done on Christmas Vacation.
And that's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in 1989. It took us down the holiday road with the Griswolds. Chevy Chase is doing what he does best, playing the bumbling fool with physical comedy and adding absurdity and charm. The Griswolds were first seen on film with National Lampoon's Vacation and with a slew of other versions. And rarely does a sequel outperform the original, and this would be the third in the series. It not only outperformed the original, but has become a holiday classic. Similar to Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, Christmas Vacation was written by John Hughes. It would have an all-star cast with a new Rusty and Audrey and Johnny Galecki and Juliette Lewis. Also fun cameos with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Brian Doyle Murray. And it was inspired by a short story called Christmas 59 written by John Hughes. There's even a nod to the original story in the film itself. When Clark is trapped in the attic, he picks up a home movie reel labeled Christmas 59.
Later, dudes. Let her rip, Hank Penn.
Having fun? Pretty neat, huh? Hey, what is with you guys? How about shutting up for a change, okay? I already fed you.
A gadget salesman is looking for a special gift for his son and finds one in a store in Chinatown. The shopkeeper is reluctant to sell the mogwai, but sells it to him with the warning to never expose him to bright light, water, or feed him after midnight. All of this happens, and the result is a gang of gremlins that decide to tear up the town on Christmas Eve. Now I know I'm going a little bit out of left field on this one, as it may not resonate as a fun holiday film, but it certainly is fun. In 1984, we would be presented with the sometimes furry, sometimes scaly, little maniacs known as Gremlins. The idea of the gremlin dates back to the Royal Air Force during World War II. When something went wrong with a plane, they would blame it on the monsters called the Gremlins. That put the idea of Gremlins into the popular culture. The film was made by Chris Columbus, who would later go on to make Home Alone, which is another holiday classic. At the time he conceived of Gremlins, Columbus was living in a loft and had a little bit of a rodent problem. He could hear the mice coming out at night and skittering around the dark floor. which he found quite creepy. This gave him the idea for Gizmo, Stripe, and all the others.
Beautiful, Frank. Got any last tips for me, huh?
Oh, God! Oh, God, Grace! Grace, go watch the show! He's here for me, come on! All right, come on, give it to me! You think I'm afraid of you? The day I've had? I know what you came for. Come and get it, you pussy.
Bryce!
Stop scaring Frank. Get this nutcake out of here.
Oh, we got a show to do.
Ebenezer Scrooge or A Christmas Carol has been told many times by Charles Dickens. On this modern take of the Charles Dickens classic, Frank Cross is a wildly successful television executive whose cold ambition and bah humbug nature has driven away the love of his life. But after firing staff member Elliot Loudermilk on Christmas Eve, Frank is visited by a series of ghosts who give him a chance to reevaluate his actions and right the wrongs of his past. Scrooged is a comedy twist on a classic.
Think I'm way off base here?
Yes, you're a tad off base, sir. That thing looked like the Manson family Christmas special.
This tale was created in 1988, and we would get classic jokes and great performances. Since the publication of the Charles Dickens classic nearly 200 years ago, the story of Ebenezer Scrooge has become very familiar with many adaptations. However, Richard Donner's film adaptation has one thing that sets it apart: comedy. And in Scrooge, along with Bill Murray, you would see all three of his brothers, John, Joel, and Brian Doyle Murray. Sam Kinison was supposed to play the ghost of Christmas Past. The part eventually went to David Johansen, and rumor has it this happened because of the close friendship with Bill Murray. At the time, Johansen would best be known as Buster Poindexter, who sang Hot, Hot, Hot.
I'm ready. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
You guys see Calvin?
Did I forget something, big man?
God blesses everyone.
Sun getting to you?
Oh, yes, it's not as bright at night. I'm usually here at night.
There you go. Always keep an extra pair.
Oh, thank you, Ernest.
You know, I don't want to insult you or nothing, being as we just met and all, but you know who you kind of remind me of?
Santa Claus?
I guess you hear that a lot, huh?
Oh, yes, but then it's to be expected.
Because you look like him?
Because I am him.
And last on our list is Ernest Saves Christmas. While the film did not hold up for me when I rewatched it with my family last year, this film has a special place for me as I adored it as a child. And Ernest P. Worrell films were hot in the 1980s. In a very rare turn of events, a TV commercial character became a huge movie actor thanks to the lovable performance by Jim Varney. Ernest was created by Varney by the Nashville advertising agency Carden and Sherry and was used in various local television campaigns. And in my local hometown, he was best known for doing car commercials.
Hey, Vern, your Northwest Ford dealers are having a very special summer sale. It's a sale you can look right in the eye.
The only national products he promoted were Coca-Cola, Chex, and Taco John's. The very first Ernest commercial filmed in 1980, and it was an advertised appearance by the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders at Beach Bend Park, which was an amusement park by Bowling Green, Kentucky. The format of the commercials seldom varied. Most often scripted to be comedic and fast-paced, it featured Ernest talking to Vern, who we never see, and it would later be turned into a TV series before the film. Other than Saving Christmas, would Go to Jail and Go to Camp, and a slew of others. The story centers around Ernest as a taxi driver and picks up Santa and Santa is looking for someone to take over his position, and he wants it to be Joe, who's a lovable man that hosts a children's TV show. All does not go according to plan, which leaves Ernest to save Christmas.
Is there anywhere in the book that says I can't have a driver for one night?
Nowhere at all. I think it's a fine idea.
How about it, Ernest? Got a lot more seat time than I have.
I knew they'd come to their senses. I am probably the best man for the job. After all, I am Ernest P. World, thrill driver. Do you think we could use an honorary elf?
Sure. Why not?
Right! Let's get these puppies pumping and start spreading that Christmas cheer. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder, and... Blitzen! Oh yeah, Blitzen.
And that's my list for this holiday season. I want to say a very Merry Christmas, or any other holiday you celebrate. Happy holidays. And if you like our videos, maybe you'll like this one that takes a look at some awesome 80s fashions. As always, my name is Kevin. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.